Hey guys, it's Anthony from the Maple Syrup Podcast. I want to introduce my other guest. To my right is Blaze. To my below is Jacob. And then to my far right is Paul. Today we'll be talking about our year in Legion, our yearly recap. What?
We are not the
What is
Maple
that,
Syrup Podcast. We are the Maple Syrup Mandos Podcast. Oh my god,
dude! I get nervous on the
Voice is
screen.
I know you do.
I get nervous.
It's apparent.
I get nervous. There's so many handsome men on the screen, and
Okay, dude. Let's go.
Oh my god. Podcasting's hard.
But we'll be talking about a recap of our year at Legion, both in tournaments and locally. And then we'll talk a little bit about some units that we think might be overrated, underrated in each faction. I'll start with myself. This year at Legion, tumultuous, very weird. I think I started the new edition playing it strictly 501st Anakin with a busted arc list. And then I transitioned away from that towards like Bad Batch and then back to Yoda. I used to play a lot of Yoda Wookiee Defenders back in the day. And like the castling clone army where you're just creating a lot of dodges and aims with Padme and Yoda. But since Exemplar doesn't exist in Guard anymore, I've been kind of lost in what I want to play. And that was always my playstyle, was playing defensively. So trying to incorporate that now into playing Yoda strictly as an offensive piece, but also as a support piece. So I've been having fun with them. I'd say that's hit the progress of playing with Yoda has been difficult. I think of the new rules, he is still very slow, and he's not the most tanky unit, but I think he's pretty cool, and I'm hoping to play more of him in the future as things come out. I'm also messing around with the custom Jedi, which are okay. They're not really.
So the other question that I want to ask everyone, and I'll start with you, Anthony, is what was your favorite new release this year for Legion?
It doesn't have to be my faction, right?
No, it should be something that you played. Like, it'd be weird if your favorite unit was Aqua Droids and you never played them and only got pummeled by them all year. That'd be interesting, I guess.
I don't know. The customizable, I've been playing a little bit. I think they're pretty, like the general, I think is so far the most interesting one. However, that's like, he's interesting because he's new. I'd say that he's not as fully in depth that I thought that they were going to do with the upgrades and stuff. But he's been like pretty, he's basically me, put onto a Jedi. So it's pretty cool.
So he's your favorite new Legion release that you've played or purchased?
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, my year in Legion, pretty rough.
I am feeling sort of the opposite. I started off beginning of January of this year was an Everwinter tournament. And at that time, it was my best finish in a big tournament. I was top 5. It was my first tournament playing with Sleeper Cell, which I guess I know was released at, I think, December of last year. But my first time playing with it was this year. So probably of all the new units, it's probably my favorite. I messed around with Sleeper Cell for 6 months. It was nice to have a super hard hitting rebel unit to really punish my opponents. It was nice getting Anthony to crash out a couple of times, one-shotting Anakin with a Sleeper Cell or one-shotting an ARC Trooper with a Sleeper Cell. That was always interesting.
That still happens. You don't need a Sleeper Cell. It still happens.
Every time it happened, Anthony, you were unlucky. So you should just keep doing it again and again because it's unlikely that Anakin will die to 18 hits. That's not going to kill Anakin Skywalker.
Has to flex.
And then after that, we did a few tournaments in Montreal. Obviously, played at our local game store, Quarterstaff Games. I had a really fun time playing Legion this year. I switched to Republic for the last 6 months of the year. Really feel like I've been enjoying playing that faction. I think it really fits my playstyle better than Rebels ever did, or certainly in the new rules. So really been enjoying playing Obi-Wan, been messing around. I think Republic Bad Batch is really, really good and fun. And yeah, and ended the end of the year winning an Everwinter tournament, even though it was, a smaller, still a GT, only GT winner in Vermont, by the way. And yeah, so it was I had a fun year playing Legion. Really feel like I feel like I really maneuvered my way into playing well in the new rule set. I think the end of last year was really rough. I feel like I was in a slump. I think a lot of players probably were, but this year I felt like was my best year playing Legion and had a lot of fun hanging out with the boys.
And what was your favorite unit?
Of the new units, probably yeah. Sleeper Cell. Although my favorite
unit came out last calendar year, though.
Yeah, I didn't play with any
so that's
new
wrong.
units.
So that's wrong. Try again.
That's wrong. You're wrong.
I have not played with a single new release.
Choose another.
Played with a single new release. That's actually a lie. He's lying too.
I clone Marksman.
Clone Marksman.
All right, I wouldn't say they're my favorite. Like they're.
And I think you might have illegally proxied those at Everwinter, which sort of puts the whole thing.
No, I didn't.
Up to
no, I used Anthony's minis.
Oh, okay. All right. All right.
Also,
lucked out this time.
You're not helping the Gar down players because we also happen to win another grand tournament with Gar. It's not helping my case of that Gar's bad. I've been trying to perpetuate that
message. Not bad. Sorry, buddy.
It's just going to be worse now. It's just worse now.
All right. Clone Marksman. So for me, I, similar to Jacob, was sort of down on the new rules at the end of last year, and started this year with Everwinter. I had actually had sort of, and did this year, go to less tournaments than I had in the past, sort of staying more local or regional to New England and the Montreal tournaments. But went to Everwinter in January, and I won Everwinter with, I think that was Dooku Aqua Droids, or it might have been before Aqua Droids were out, but they were definitely out at the beginning of the year.
It was Dooku Geos, I'm pretty sure.
I think I might have been playing, maybe Aquas had just come out, or they weren't available yet. I think they got delayed. I don't know. I think it was Dooku with Geonosians, with Dooku Poggle and Geonosians. And I liked that list a lot. And then later on, as the year developed, Aqua Droids were fully out, and I played them pretty consistently all the way up until 2 months ago. So 10 months of the year, I was playing Dooku Aquas pretty much exclusively, both in terms of local games and at tournaments. At tournaments, Dooku Aquas did super well. It was a list that I was really able to hone in on in terms of what objectives I wanted to play, which I think was one of the reasons that I started to disengage a little bit from Legion, was the objective reset and not having all of the institutional knowledge of objectives. So it was nice over the course of the year to play one list and really figure out the subtle differences between intercept and breakthrough, or bunker assault, or especially recover the position, recover the research and shifting positions. All these objectives that, to me, when the rules first came out, I was like, these are the same objective, just with different names and slightly different POI positions, but they're actually quite different. And the tournaments went well for me. I didn't do so well in the local tournaments. I got regularly knocked out of our local league and our tournaments that we did locally, but had good performance at Everwinter, and then at Ironweld with Dooku Aquas, and then at SLO in the fall with Dooku Aquas and Cad Bane, which was really fun to bring Cad Bane back. I hadn't played him in 2 years, so to have him back on the field was a lot of fun. And then I think for me, asking myself my own question, my favorite unit that released this year, it would have to be Aquas, but I don't know if they actually came out this year. I feel like they actually came out in the fall of last year, but maybe they got delayed until like January of this year.
They came out this year.
Okay. It would have to be Aqua Droids.
It was all the new packaging. The new packaging came out.
I was looking at your list of Everwinter. You played with
Magna Guards, bro.
Yeah,
I still have Magna Guards at that point. Those sucked in that tournament. I hated that. That was the last time I played Magna Guards.
Vibro Sword Commandos.
Vibro Sword Commandos are good. They'll probably come up later. Yeah, and so like Aquas I really liked. They're so consistent in terms of their performance. Not just because they've been like underpriced, but like the mobile wall functionality of them just makes so many things in CIS. Not that Dooku wasn't playable without them, but it makes him so consistent at tournaments. It was really nice to go to tournaments and be like, I don't really care about the table as a Dooku player because I can literally just control wherever I want him to be and put a wall anywhere, which was great and I think helped out a lot. Now that they've gone up in price, I think I still want to keep like one of them around in like many competitive CIS lists because they're fun to play and they add a lot to the faction. So yeah, can't knock them. Blaze.
For sure. This is definitely the least I've played Legion, or the year that I've played the least Legion out of like every year over the course of my career. I bought a house recently, and I've just been working a lot, trying to pay that mortgage. So I think I only went to one tournament. It was Ironweld, and I dropped on day 2 of that because I suck. I was just tired and hungover, and
you went to Everwinter too. Placed third in Everwinter.
Did I?
Yes, you
really?
did.
Yes, fair enough.
Yes, you did. I was there. I was TLing it.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, you came in third, playing a Vader list.
Right. I don't know. You guys remember better than I do, but
that would have been like January 10th. That was like barely in this year.
Right, for sure.
Start of the new year. It's a new Blaze.
Oh yeah. So pretty uneventful. Anyways, my favorite unit of this year for sure, the customizable Imperial Officer and Agent. Just because they bring some much needed aim generation into Empire. Kind of revitalize the
on that
Imperial,
topic
gun line.
I do have to shout out the Imperial Officer customs because I didn't mention, but I played Empire, which is the first time I didn't play a non CIS at a tournament ever in like 3 years at Everwinter. I played Empire. And that was really because of the Imperial Officer. I'd been always interested in Empire, but in the new rules with when the officer disappeared, I was like, none of these lists seem very fun when you can't hand out aims.
Big time.
That's been big, I think, just for the playability of the faction.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's a cool model. The customizables are pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and I think they might be the only Empire unit that dropped this year. Am I wrong about that?
Riot Troopers were end of last year. They had the old box. I think you're right because High Command got pushed into first quarter of next year. High Command was originally supposed to come out around right before Christmas.
Sure.
Dude, Empire's starving out here, bro. What the hell?
Is that really true? That feels like it shouldn't be true. Hondo.
All right.
I literally was looking around my desk.
You're really
stretching.
You're really stretching the definition there. But yeah, no. I'm looking at the transmissions.
Dang, and, that's crazy.
Yeah,
one Empire unit.
Re-releases. Yep.
Dang.
Yeah, you could say Imperial March. I dug in.
Fair.
Callus,
Strike and fade, I guess.
Yeah, they got a couple random tidbits, but yeah, that's interesting.
I think the previous year Empire had like the most units that were released, but I could be wrong there.
Riots, range troopers,
Inquisitors last year too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they were.
No, they might have been 2023.
They were 2 years ago. Yeah, because we were talking about them at the last Nova with the old rule set. It was like Inquisitors were going to break the game. They did not.
No, Inquisitors were 2024. Yeah.
Dang.
So they must have been
Looking at the scene to stats, January 25th,
maybe that was the last
2024
tournament that we played with it. Before they
Yeah.
just said, huh. Well,
That's sad.
that's 2 units. That's pretty good.
3 with riots.
No, it's 4 because there's 2 Inquisitors.
Yeah, fair enough.
Inquisitorial training, new upgrade.
Well, I'm changing my answer. Favorite unit, by the way, that came out this year. Republic Ahsoka came out this year. And I've been having a lot of fun with
enough.
Republic Ahsoka the last few weeks.
Solid.
Super fun.
Solid.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyways.
Blaze, thank you for sharing. Do we want to get into anyone else have any thoughts on Year in Legion? Obviously, we ended very strong.
We ended very strong.
I ended very strong.
You winning. Yeah,
Paul had his worst tournament performance
that's
ever.
not true. No, not probably. I don't think that's true. I've had some bad ones.
Anthony crashes out on a
duds.
weekly basis against Rebel players because he doesn't know how to counter land speeders. So yeah, everything's
Anthony
been going
doesn't
great.
know how to counter getting shot in the face.
No one does.
Hard counter
I
to
do.
Anthony
It's called
is to shoot
One
his
does.
toys.
Shoot him.
Even if I hide Yoda behind a wall, there's gonna be like 6 moves.
So
and
why
then
even try?
Exactly. No point.
True.
I think for me, I guess like this year, as we get to the end of the year, we're recording this like 3 days before the year ends. But as we get to the end, it's like been a rising tide in terms of my interest in Legion and figuring out the subtleties of the new rules and learning that there is like a lot of depth in the new game. And it just took a while to see it. And I also think like now this might be ambitious and I might just snap back to being like a hardcore CIS player. But for me, it's like a little bit of at the end of the year, trying to transition into just playing more things because I feel like CIS had been sort of solved, or there was like a very clear, for me, optimal way to play them. It's definitely not true right now with Super Tax, but I think like expanding what I'm playing has helped me stay interested in the game. And I think it's probably the same for you, Jacob, who like, you know, you switched from Rebels to Gar, but can always like go back. So that's been nice to have. I wouldn't recommend that for people like Blaze who struggle to even paint miniatures that they play every week. So
Or just come at Thursday.
that's been nice.
Come to play on a weekly basis. I agree with you. I think I was like kind of down on it. I was kind of drinking the haterade with the new objectives. It really killed a lot of my interest because of that. I enjoyed manipulating the objective carriers and things like that, but it's grown on me. I think it was kind of hard, especially going to a tournament knowing nothing. We went to Nova when like the second edition like dropped essentially, and just like not knowing anything or like about how the new game works and how it interacts with everything. And that was kind of like a cool experience, but also very stressful because it's in like a competitive scenario. But I've been liking it. I've been playing pretty much just Gar. I've tried one Shadow Collective list, but I don't know. I think I'm just gonna keep trying with Gar into the new year, personally.
Yeah, I think that was. I think I was really the only one in the group that had a generally positive view of the new rules, like more positive than negative. initially. I think we were done a disservice of the timing of already deciding, like, hey, we're going to Nova. This is like, we're traveling, spending a lot of money to go to like a really competitive tournament. And then we, because the players there, obviously, they have a really strong scene down in the DC area, and then getting smoked where Blaze and Paul actually ended up dropping. And I remember I was playing with like a hero hammer list of like that was not optimal whatsoever, and it just kind of left a bad taste in a lot of our mouths. It was a month into the new rules of just like immediately getting pummeled and not really knowing what to do. But I think, I mean, at least for me, yeah, I feel like I feel like I was justified in my toxic positivity to the new rules. I
You got
think
supercells. That made it
that
enjoyable
made
to
things
play.
better, and now I'm playing Republic, and it's yeah, I feel like all my games, it's we've talked about it before, but not on the podcast. Is I think I recognized very quickly, and sort of, I think people generally recognize quickly. People who played a lot of Legion is in the new rules. The ceiling of games is sometimes lower, like there's a less wacky stuff that could happen, but the floor, in my opinion, is much, much higher. You're not going to have those games that just result in a tie with no one killing things, because that's the way the objectives were set up. You're not going to, like, there's going to be games in the new rules where it's like, based on the objective, you have a 60% chance of losing. In the old rules, you had a 99% chance of losing based on like the objective. So there's way fewer feels bad scenarios. And the game, because of like progressive scoring, it's going to be, fun throughout. Where some of the nuances are lost, but ultimately you're going to have fewer games that feel like a complete waste of time.
And I think, yeah, and I think another way, like, how I would take that is like the new game, the new rules. Every game is going to essentially hinge to some degree on the combat between units. Not the randomness, not the dice, but like in how the two players execute like their strategy of how they're going to deal damage to the opponent, which was not true in the old game. In the old game, it was more about like the objective plays, and that was where like the game really, like, you could be fighting each other, but if your opponent outplayed you on the objective, they would win. And so the combat was a much lower sort of aspect of the game. And now, like a real war game, and like a Star Wars game, the performance of the characters and of the units on the board really matters a lot more, which has its appeals in that, like, lists, like we're talking about the Imperial Officer, like these lists that are more about like funneling efficiency and interesting like combos in terms of your tactics, so like how you fight, are more fun to play now than I think they were in the old rules. In the old rules, you could have these really hyper efficient gun lines, but they, like, you still needed to get to pick up a box. I didn't mind that, but I think it's we've seen that for most players, or for a large amount of people who are playing the game now, they like that Vader swinging his lightsaber is like a key part of their game in a way that it wasn't in the past. Yeah. Blaze, anything you want to apologize for in terms of your behavior in Legion this year?
Is there something specific that
No, it's a segment. Everybody's going to go around and talk about their Legion sins, right, guys?
My Legion sins.
You don't play enough. That's your sin. You don't play enough.
I don't think I've been around enough to commit any sins.
Blaze, you don't play
the
enough.
absent player, Blaze Rainville.
If you played more, your sin, I don't know what your sin would be. Your sin is not coming at all to Thursdays at all.
Yeah, come on, man. You're not out here every week grinding Legion. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
Sorry, dog.
I get my butt kicked twice every day on Thursday.
Yeah, Anthony's running double games, getting his ass whooped for 7 hours straight because you aren't there.
It's for the love of the game. At this point,
you weren't there.
At this point, I don't even enjoy playing Legion. I just enjoy just being there, having a good time.
Yeah, he's being the
My Legion
Anthony,
Sin.
thanks for all the double games this year. Anthony, for viewers that aren't in our local group, which is like 3 of you, it would be Anthony often will show up early to play an extra game so that if we have an odd number of people on a Legion night, everybody can play a game, which is very nice of him. And probably Anthony's the only person in our group or that I know of that can play games fast enough that that's possible. I could offer that service, but it would never actually, it would just mean that another person would awkwardly hang around for like thinking I would finish and it wouldn't happen. Yeah. Thanks,
I've yet
Anthony.
to play the dub. You're welcome. I've yet to play the 2 games at once as a challenge. I'll lose 2 games simultaneously.
Yeah,
but
it's not very impressive when you are not like that's impressive when somebody does it and beats 2 people. There's nothing impressive about losing 2
He's watching a
games
guy play
at
like
the
6
same
games
time.
of chess and
He's like Bobby Fischer.
Anthony Jensen.
I'm like the Bobby Fischer of
anybody
losing
can do
Legion.
Not anyone. Only
Not anyone can lose. I don't even know if you'd be emotionally capable of it. Imagine getting 2 Anakins punked off the board by 4 land speeders with 8 attacks on turn 1 at the same time. He won.
Don't worry. My next list, it's bringing Bark list. I'm bringing Barks with RPS. Peter, if you're listening to this, I'm bringing Barks with that land speeder. It's over. So TJ, and Peter.
I don't
next
think
thing. Next
Barks with an RPS are it's over.
We're icing them. We're icing them. Doesn't matter. It's a call out. It's a call out.
What are they gonna do? They're gonna die at turn 1, dude.
It's not Anakin dying.
Oh yeah.
I'm just
right,
gonna feed my Bark speeders to your land speeder so Anakin doesn't get.
This is what happens when you have too isolated of a local meta. Is you just start the revolving door of trying to beat Peter's land speeders with all this random crap from like deep.
I'm
deep
tired
in
of
the
it.
Republic Army list.
I'm tired of it.
RP, a twin laser cannon Bark gunners. That'll show him.
Oh boy.
Yeah. The dangers of a small meta. All right. Are we ready for the main topic?
Yeah, let's transition.
All right. The main topic for this episode is going to be a little bit more of a for fun since we're ending the year. We want to give our takes on what are the units that are being underused in each faction. So the most like underrated units that we think people should be putting into lists, but they aren't. And overrated, which I guess would be units that are showing up in too many lists that they maybe are not as strong as the larger zeitgeist has decided. And we're going to also be reaching outside of the factions we actually play. So we're going to be truly going for the hottest takes.
This is hate watch. This is hate watch.
What does that mean?
I'm gonna be hating on some units. I think they're.
Oh, it's about hating on you. I thought you just had to love up on some units.
I love up on some units, but I'm gonna hate on some other units too.
Okay. All right. So do we want to do faction by faction here?
Yeah, let's do 5 faction.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
What's the
Curious
first
what you guys are gonna say.
that shows up on Tabletop Admiral? Shout out to Empire is the first faction.
So Empire, we'll start with underrated, and then.
Okay, Anthony, most underrated Empire unit. And just to clarify, this means a unit that when you say this, you're not just saying like, oh, it's just a fun unit. This is really cool. You're saying people should be playing this unit competitively and they aren't. Go.
I think Shore Trooper Super Squad should be played more. I played against a couple of them, and having that with Duggan and the T-21B is a very effective firing line alongside the mortars. I find that to be. I think people should be playing more of that. People have been playing more of like the Super Squad, like Stormtroopers with T21, which I think is fine, but I think if you want like good dice down range at range 3 or 4, that's like a pretty good gun line. It's pretty expensive, but I think that's a underrated unit people should be using.
In all Empire lists, or are you
No,
thinking just particular
I think if you-
battle forces, namely Remnant?
I think Remnant or like the Stormtrooper battalion thing.
I don't think you could take short
you can't
troopers.
bring
Oh, you can't? Oh.
It's
No,
Stormtrooper battalion.
It would be nice. Yeah,
Oh,
I'd dig.
Alright. I'm gonna rate your take.
short
I'm gonna
troopers.
rate your take as mid take.
You don't like it?
I don't think that they're underrated in anything. Like I don't think they're underrated in in Remnant. Like they're starting to see some play in Remnant. I don't think they're worth taking outside of Remnant.
Yeah, man. 98 points for
Blaze,
9
you don't
black
play.
dice is rough, man. That's a lot.
Blaze
don't
has
play,
played
Blaze.
that unit. He's played
Yeah?
that unit.
I have, yeah.
Okay,
They've
never
got a
mind.
real
Courage
mobility
one.
problem, man.
Take it back. Take it back.
You don't take it back. You can't do that.
take back that he didn't play.
I think you're. I think. I do think that Remnant is largely underplayed. It seems strong. It's.
I think the reason Remnant is underplayed isn't any issue with like the rules of the battle force. It's the fact that you gotta like mix and match units. You know, it's
Yeah,
a
it just
nightmare
kinda
to actually like
sucks.
put on the table.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and you have to play Dark Troopers, which Dark Troopers I feel kind of lame on the table, even though they are like strategically valuable.
yeah, I feel it.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna go with that. And I shouldn't say mid. Mid sounds like I'm saying it's bad. I'm gonna go with like an average take. 3 out of 5 stars.
All right, so we're gonna continue on with underrated.
Jacob.
I think E-webs are underrated. I think, especially with the cumbersome change, I'm curious to see. I think, I think for 60 points, they put out a pretty solid amount of firepower. I think we're starting to see play of prepared positions units a little bit more. I think dug in is a good keyword for them. Yeah, and I think even when you're kitting them out with dug in and one of the generators, they're 69 points. Nice. And and for that, I mean,
That's tight. Yeah.
for 69 points, that's pretty good firepower. Obviously, they're timing neutral at some level. We're taking
Not if you have
standbys.
dug in on them.
Not if you have dug
timing
in, but
neutral.
like I think when it comes to the standby situation, they could be a little bit timing neutral, or if you're not taking dug in, and then, I mean, now with the cumbersome change of, they're slow in that they're speed 1, but they have a pretty sizable base. Even a move once, range 4 shot, like you have a threat range of almost range 5 with a 1 black 4 white with the cumbersome. When they're shooting with cumbersome,
up to 7. Up to 7 total dice because you can still
Yeah.
fire the
if you're
generator.
popping the generator, it's not bad. I mean, if it's 1 black 6 white, it's a bit of a slot machine, but it's surge to crit. You get suppressive. I think they could be good. I mean, they're not expensive. You're kind of expecting them to draw some fire. Anti-vehicle hedge. I think we haven't really seen. Like, I know people are now messing around with the cumbersome units a little bit more, which is cool. I played with an RPS clone trooper for the first time last week and was pretty happy with that. And I know people are going to be messing around with cumbersome units more. So I think I would like to see more E-webs played. I think if I were an Empire player, I'd be checking them out. How's that take, Paul?
I agree. That's a good take. That's a 5 out of 5 take in my opinion.
For sure.
As somebody who's played some Empire, Blaze, thoughts?
Yeah, no, I definitely dig it, man. I do think you probably need dug in staple to these guys. They'll get smoked real quick if you're putting them out in prepared positions.
I'm just going to do the numbers here. I'm just going to see what like a comparable unit to that for the prices. So yeah, they're slightly cheaper than a T-21 Specialist Stormtrooper for like a reference. Um,
Yeah, you're saying with dug in
with
and
dug in the
generator.
barrage generator. If you don't bring dug in, they're very cheap. They're like a stormtrooper with a heavy, which
Yeah,
is a pretty decent comparison. I mean, it's one less wound, but I would say a better gun and doesn't attrition at all. Yeah, I don't know. They're solid, and I think there's a lot of things going for them. They're the cheapest activation in that slot, which is like significant. They're pretty easy to spam out, and it's the support slot for Empire. I wouldn't say is super competitive. It's really only dewbacks.
They're also takeable, I think, in every single Empire battle force except for Tempest.
Yeah,
but the other three battle forces, you could take them.
We
need a new box that has them. They are.
Yeah, it feels weird that they're snow. Yeah, I would like to see from a model perspective, not just a snow trooper. I'd like to be given like the options of a stormtrooper or something. But yeah. Anyway,
and I think these guys are actually pretty fast and for like a speed 1 unit.
Yeah, but it's
like
deceptively so, I think.
Like,
yeah, they're probably similar to a small base trooper at speed 2, I would guess. That base is pretty large.
Isn't it ATR? ATR, not
it's an ATRT base, yeah. At speed 1.
For diving a point when you need to.
Yep.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, no, they're solid. And one other tactic that's good for them if you do play them, and I would like to get more of them on the table, but Blaze has mine. Blaze has assembled his army of E-Webs using our models. Is you don't have to prepare positions. Mike Berry mentioned this on a podcast a while ago. It's a very smart idea. If you're scared of like a lot of like infiltrating high velocity units or something, you could just walk onto the board and with cumbersome, now not even shutting off your attack. That is also always an option if you feel like, so you don't have to play them in only prepared position lists, which is nice. Yeah, good take. Nice job. Nice job, Chico.
Paul, what's your underrated take in Empire after playing extensively with them?
Okay, I'm going nuclear spice here.
We know what he's gonna say. We know what he's gonna say.
You don't know what I'm gonna say.
We absolutely know what you're gonna say.
Comes out of your mouth right now, dude.
Underrated unit is going to be range troopers.
Oh, stop it.
Underrated units? No, hold on. Let me explain. Range troopers,
I agree, actually,
have not seen the table, I think, by anybody almost at all, because they went up by 10 points without a clear communication from AMG. AMG dropped the ball on like what was going on there. It may have been a mistake. However, if you match them up against other similar units, and I've done this like across every faction, they perform pretty strongly against every other like range 4 unit in the game in terms of their output and their price point. It's not that they're cheap. My point is that if you are playing an Empire list and you are bringing Death Troopers with a DLT-19, you should probably bring a range trooper with a heavy instead. And I say that are underrated because I see Death Troopers are one of the most popular units in Legion. And DLT-19D Death Troopers are pretty popular. It's not just the DTF Death Trooper that's getting brought. And I think the range trooper for almost the same price is just a better unit at what you want that to do. It never has to recover. It has Indomitable. Yes, it is speed 1 with Spur, but most Empire lists are Courage 3 now, and a Courage 3 unit with Indomitable is just never going to panic. Like, it seems super unlikely that they're going to panic. And they don't have to burn aims like any long shot unit to stay at range 4. And they actually get aims. Like, I don't know. They just seem like they could be useful for that role. And I think they just kind of outperform Death Troopers in the same role.
I hear
agree.
you. I don't disagree that they're better at the range 4 game than Death Troopers. I just think you're not going to be at range 4 the entire game, and at some point something's going to close with you, or you're going to have to close with something. And at least Death Troopers have the ability to spike with the two white die attacks, and like aims obviously rerolling 2 extra dice, surging to hit. I think at range 4, you're absolutely right, and I think, but I don't know. I feel like so much of the game is closing to range 2 that I think Death Troopers at least give you some flexibility to hit hard at close range, whereas range troopers don't do that. I understand what you're saying. I mean, it's certainly a take.
Yeah, I agree that at the range 4 band, they're fine, but I just think that the range 4 band isn't a super competitive space to occupy. You know, like you're not gonna win the game at range 4.
Yeah, I don't think you're spamming them out, but I think if you were investing into a range 4 shooting unit in Empire, which I think is likely that you'd like, a lot of Empire lists are doing that. I think range troopers are worth consideration. I don't think that they should be written off just because of I think people have written them off emotionally because of how poorly done the 10-point increase was. If you actually look at what AMG did, I think it is actually intentional. I've changed my mind on this. It probably was intentional. They increased the price of every range 4 unit. So I think it was intentional. But yeah, I don't know. I think if you're bringing a range 4 unit in Empire, range troopers are heavily underrated right now. I'm going to try and put them on the table soon. So we're going to see how
he just bought some range troopers.
I just finished gluing them together today.
I like the take. I think they would benefit a lot from having it like a scout move or a prepared position of some sort. I think in my limited time of seeing on the board, they seem like when they're 10 points cheaper, they seem pretty good.
Yeah, 10 points cheaper, I'd agree with you.
Yeah. I don't know. I think as a one-off, I think if you're playing like a Krennic Death Trooper...
And just to be clear, I do not think Inquisitors are underrated. I think Inquisitors are pretty bad.
But he's still playing them.
I think Inquisitors are, I guess there are ways to play them that make them impactful, but they're so demanding on the list building and like how you actually play them on the board that that doesn't really make them good. The fact that there is a way to play them where they're effective doesn't inherently make them actually a good unit.
In the new year, we'll be making a list of how to play with Inquisitors. And starting in the new year. It'll be fun.
Making a podcast about how to play Inquisitors? No.
Yeah.
No. If I ever figure out how to play Inquisitors, I'm gatekeeping that shit crazy style. My lists will be blacked out off of Longshanks.
They've been redacted. That's a good take.
I do think, and I've mentioned this, I do think that there's probably a very small elite cadre, cabal of Inquisitors players that know how they're actually supposed to play, because the way that they interact is so unintuitive.
Where are they?
I'm trying to find them. If you're part of the cabal of Inquisitors players, please contact me, because I did there's a decent amount of people playing Inquisitors.
Who?
I checked Longshanks. There's 150 logged games, I think, of Inquisitors.
You must have lost a fantasy football bet. You must have lost some sort of bet to be playing Inquisitors, bro. There's no way.
But yeah, the point is I think most people that are surface level evaluating Inquisitors don't even know what they actually look like on the board. Because, anyways, they're not underrated. They're not a good unit.
He's rubbing the elitism of the Inquisitors on
the elite
cabal. Is it like an underground coven of people hiding an Inquisitor tech from us?
I think it is.
Who?
All right, well, let's get off of that. And the one person's opinion who should theoretically matter the most if he actually played, our resident Empire player, Blaze. What's the most underrated unit in your faction?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have any hot takes, man. Dewback with the Flamer. They've kind of fallen out of fashion recently. Haven't really been seeing them on Longshanks very much. But I think there's going to be a rising prevalence of super squads. And by extension, I think Flamers are going to be, I think their stocks are up. And I think the Dewback was already a pretty decent unit in the, in the new Legion. So yeah, Dewback Flamer, not a very hot take, but
I was gonna say, how can you even say that when they were the most common unit in the faction for like
I
a
want
long
to
time.
I want to push
but-
Blaze to say something more meaningful here. So I'm going to ask him a question.
Mhm.
Do you think that they should be played outside of Vader lists?
Yeah, I think so. Are you like alluding to like the New Ways combination? Or,
Yeah, like
sure.
is the combination of New Ways and the Infinite Courage, like that's how they've primarily been played, although we did see some Opt Vader play with them. Like that's how we saw them played a lot. Do you think that, like, do you think if I'm not running Vader at all, either Vader, don't have access to that card, don't have Infinite Courage, should I play them?
Yeah, I think so, honestly. Well, expanding the take beyond the flamer. Honestly, I like the dewback with the RT-97, whatever that the range
The
4
one
gun
red
there.
3, right?
Yeah. You can reach super far with you know that you know, 2 spurs and a relentless. They're great for just snagging a kill when you need it. Clear a point, get a suppression on a unit that you need a suppression on. And there's still the solid melee unit. Good linebacker. Yeah, I think they have I don't know. I think they're pretty close to being you know, able to be slotted in as like a one-off or you know, 2 of in most Empire lists as just like linebackers. Yeah. If you're not looking to drop the extra points for the flame rifle, I think that range 4 gun is a decent option there.
It's a good take. It's a good take. I'll give it a 3 out of 5, tied with Anthony. I do think you're right that, Jacob, I saw your reaction. At the beginning of the year, dewbacks were everywhere. They were ubiquitous, but
Yeah.
I think Blaze is right that they've fallen off as new Empire stuff has come out. Not like, obviously not units as we talked about, but like new ways to play Empire have come out. But yeah, I think that they should, I don't know, it'd be interesting to see them without Vader. I don't think I've ever played against them without Vader being present, which I think changes what they're doing on the board a lot, because it's not just that they don't have new ways, it's also that they are, if you don't have another melee unit, they're more of a linebacker versus being a dive unit.
I would love to see Blaze playing a Flamer dewback and one-shotting a Cassian fleet super squad.
Yeah, that's a big
man. Talk about
big
toxic.
feel there.
Yeah. No, I think that's like that is like a very good, not just like a use case, but it's actually a good like meta call. Those things are going to be running around a lot, in addition to lots of other lists that are bringing supers anyways, or high
Ewok
model
slingers,
counts.
super squads. You're seeing more Republic super squads. Yeah, I mean, even with the points increase, I don't think it was of the flame rifle. I don't think it was significant enough to like remove it from contention. I think my reaction was a little extreme. I think just because they were like super common at the beginning of the year, but I think you're right. They are not really being played as much, and I think the meta call is such that it makes honestly more sense to play them. So yeah, good take, Blaze.
And real quick before we move on, we knew this topic before, and here are an Empire I think is the spiciest one. Here are some bait ones I was considering throwing out and I didn't. General Veers, Iden Versio, IG-88, Imperial Cad Bane, that's obvious bait.
Yeah, man, what are we talking about? Imperial Cad Bane?
Pike Syndicate Foot Soldiers in Empire.
I was debating that one, actually.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
They still have a really gnarly attack, man.
Yeah,
like,
and Empire actually has the ability to put aims on other units, not just through exemplar sharing, unlike say like CIS or some other factions that are more dependent on exemplar. So
I should have said the real underrated thing in Empire. I just totally forgot. Din. People should play more Din in Empire. I think he's pretty good.
I don't think he's bad. I think the 5 health really hurts. I think Grogu really actually in the new rule set helps Din a lot. At least I've found.
I think if you're comparing bounty hunters in Empire and you're seeing Boba Fett and or Bosk or Cad Bane, and you want to play a bounty hunter of some sort, I think Din is probably.
I think Din is probably
best.
better than Boba Fett in Empire.
I agree with
in
that.
terms of the role that he fills. He still provides a second bounty carrier.
Doesn't feel thematic to play Din in Empire. I don't know. But
I think
as far as like the bounty hunter the bounty hunter you should be playing in Empire, Callus. Like, just incredible value in that.
Yeah, best bounty hunter in Empire.
All of them have to compete
Callus.
against a guy who's 30 to... hold on. Guess how much cheaper Callus is than Boba Fett? They're both bounty hunters.
Crazy, man.
Is it,
how much?
is it 40 points?
Anthony, guess?
Isn't it 30? Wait, isn't it like 30? No.
The difference in price.
120, I think. Yeah, it's like
120 is the difference in price?
No, I'm just thinking of the price of Boba Fett. I think it's like 30, right?
Give me a number.
30.
30? Blaze, you know it, I assume.
Yeah, I know
it's
it.
60. It's
60
points?
Yeah,
it's crazy.
60 points? Wait,
so
really?
you can afford Callus and a stormtrooper with a heavy that he's escorting for the price of Boba Fett with no
what the
upgrades.
Hell?
Dude,
Boba Fett with nothing.
Help, dude.
And Boba Fett is always bringing his flamethrower, so it's actually like 45 point difference. Oh, sorry, 65. 65.
He's literally
point
double
difference.
Callus's price.
Insane.
That is insane. Oh my
I
god.
can't believe Boba is 130.
Dude, what the?
He's 130? Dude, I thought it was 125.
His command
No
cards
wonder
need to be
Blaze
reworked.
hates Legion now. His
we-
favorite character's unplayable.
His favorite unit is horrible.
terrible,
yeah, he's
man.
really bad.
Dang.
Just from a I think what he does with the
Wow.
board is fine. It's just he's probably about
It's
25
wildly
points.
overpriced.
worse
Dan
than
takes his
he
lunch
should
money,
be.
bro. That's crazy.
That's so
Wildly
funny.
overpriced.
And Callus has immune melee pierce. So
Yeah.
actually in melee, Callus is tankier than Boba Fett pretty much.
Yeah, actually.
This is gonna make Blaze sad. He's not gonna want to play Legion after. We gotta switch. We still switch
All
rebels
right,
now.
all right. Let's keep going with the underrated units, right?
Oh,
Or
well,
no,
do
you
you
wanna
want to
do
do
overrated?
I thought we were
Overrated.
doing faction by faction.
Okay. Let's be
So-
quick with the
right.
overrated. I think we're gonna agree. on a
Hopefully
lot
we
of stuff.
agree on some of these. That was interesting in that we all had different takes. But
Yeah.
All right, Anthony, overrated Empire unit.
Dude, people gotta stop bringing Krennic, and not because like he's a good unit. He's overrated. It's because he's so good for his price point. It's in every list. It's crazy.
Yeah, I was about to say, if you're saying Krennic is
No,
overrated, cap.
He's not overrated. I guess like in my terms, I think overrated is like everyone's bringing it, but he's bringing it for the wrong reasons. In my
I'm going to
opinion.
disagree with that take. Look at the Imperial Commander units, and what is the second unit that you would take in literally any Empire list? Veers, yeah, yeah, yeah,
The
exactly.
officer.
Probably the officer. Probably.
Yeah,
the
I
officer.
guess if you're taking it, but here's the thing: officer can be brought in the operative slot, so it's like you can shunt them. Yeah, I don't. I'm gonna jump ahead in line here, and I'm gonna say I think the actual overrated unit is DTF Death Troopers.
Why?
So DTF obviously being the heavy upgrade for Death Troopers that gives them compel. That unit is paired a lot with Krennic because Krennic has entourage. I guess I have no statistics on how many other people were doing that, but I played this a lot when I played Empire this year, and I assume other people are. I don't think the DTF Death Trooper unit is that good. And oftentimes I think it's worthwhile to just bring Krennic by himself without a Death Trooper. I guess I'm going to put Death Troopers entirely. I'll expand that. Death Troopers entirely, I think, are overrated. It's the theme of both of my takes. They remain, I think, expensive for what they do. We can talk a lot about how good their white dice pool is if they have aims, but if they don't have aims, then it's really not very good. It's horrible,
Anemic,
actually,
yeah.
I would say. They get chewed up really fast for their price, and I think tacking on expensive Death Troopers onto Krennic decreases his cost efficiency when he's suddenly trying to become a support unit for a Death Trooper. Yeah. So I think Krennic is really good, and I think he just shouldn't always be escorted by Death Troopers, despite the thematics.
I agree with your take. I agree. Death Troopers are the most overrated unit in Empire. I think whenever you have like a Pierce unit, which I mean, so many units,
everybody has.
Everybody has it. Like Jedi eat them for lunch. Like it's just there's not a juicier melee target than that. I think you should, in my opinion, I think that taking one Death Trooper with Krennic makes sense. Order control, and I think they are still like a strong backline unit, and I think they are flexible and that they have firepower all the way up the field as well. But for that price point, and much like a lot of other special forces units, I know that Notorious Scoundrels talked about this on a recent podcast, is at the end of the day, they don't have a lot of wounds, so they're sort of susceptible to like bad rolls and take attrition a lot. I still think I think they're good. I think they're still like, I think taking one of them is fine. And I think in like an Iden tack strike list, it makes sense. But I think
that's like the optimal use case.
Yeah,
like that's getting a huge amount of value off of that extra Death Trooper.
But as far as taking a one-off, there's better options. I think honestly, you should be avoiding the Special Forces slot in Empire for the most part, with the exception of like naked scout troopers to like pad activations to get like cheeky firepower. But yeah, I agree with the take. I'm not as low on them as you are, I think, but
so here's my thing. DTF Death Trooper, cheapest Death Trooper you can run, is 10 points more than a Stormtrooper Specialist T-21 squad.
You could be running naked deaths, which
sure,
I think DTF is the best way to run them.
I agree that DTF, I think, is the most
compel bubble.
Expands the compel bubble, 6 health unit, with surging red saves.
Yeah. But it's just, I don't know, for 10 points less, you can get a core unit that has also a 6 wounds. It doesn't surge, but it provides all the sort of like list benefits of being a core unit, which is usually you're going to have better aura control. It's fulfilling a minimum. And it just doesn't suck when it gets shot by a Pierce.
I think
it doesn't wreck your soul.
I think Death Troopers I think a Death Trooper and Iden Tack Strike or as a one-off with Krennic is fine. But yeah, I think
the one-off with Krennic is a bit of a trap. Like that entourage is really not that potent. When you're giving an order to a Death Trooper, like it's nice to have an extra order on the field for sure.
But it's not. Yeah,
it's not mind-boggling value.
Nope.
And there aren't a lot of cards in Empire where you would benefit significantly by having that extra order on the field.
And usually in Empire, you're going to have plenty of other viable targets for aims. Like you don't need a Death Trooper hanging around to use aims. Like Stormtroopers are a good use of aims.
Yeah.
Scouts use aims effectively. Most of the hero units can make decent use of aims. So I don't know. E-webs can make great use of aims. I don't know. There's a lot of options. I would say basically my point is if you're bringing Krennic, you don't have to bring a Death Trooper to make him effective. You could save points and get similar firepower in other slots. Basically, yeah, same with the range troopers. I don't like Death Troopers.
Yeah.
Done with them.
That's spicy. I like it. Thank you, Paul. Jacob, what do you think? What's your overrated?
Mine's also Death Troopers.
You got okay.
I don't feel as strongly about it, but yeah, mine's also Death Troopers.
Dang.
Blaze, you too?
Yeah, Death Troopers.
Dang.
I think all this spawned off of one
I went on Longshank and Death Troopers are like probably like the third most played non-hero unit in the game. Up there. Outside of core units. Like they're one of the most played non-core units in the game. Which really surprised me for what I've seen them do on the board. They're cool. All right, next faction.
Rebels.
Anthony, most underrated unit in Rebels.
Crap. I feel like no, I don't know if like It's not a good take, I don't think. I haven't seen it, but I've been theorizing, been thinking about it. I think the T-47, if you bring two of them, I think could be really good. I just haven't seen a lot of T-47 since the update. I don't know. My reasoning is that it's a big base. It's pretty powerful. It's impact 3 on the main gun or something like that.
Yep, impact 3 surge crit.
Armor 3 is whatever. I mean, it's gonna get sniped by anything like an AT or like a ATST, but if you have 2 of these zooming around, I think it could do some damage. My personal opinion. I've never, like, this is me theorizing. I haven't seen anyone do it, but that's my thought at least.
I agree with your take. I think it's a good take. It's a solid take. They provide a lot of armor killing. Here's the problem, actually. Hold on. I'm rethinking it. I'm looking at it in that slot. They compete with the AA5 and the X34. That's pretty rough.
Oh, wait. Yeah, no, never mind.
It's not the speeder's fault, but
it's a good, yeah, they're a decent unit. They offer a lot in the current meta. And I've actually seen that I've been punked by them in the new rules. They can really wrap up a flank without much answer from your opponent. They don't have the right tools. But the X34 is just so much better and cheaper. Good take, though.
I think if the X34 was more like, if the speeder was a little less expensive, I think it could compete that slot. But I think since with the unstable astromech and how and you can bring 2 land speeders for effective cost, like 100 points, it's pretty good. Ex-Rebel player Jacob.
My hot take, probably not a hot take. We'll see what you guys think. My underrated Rebel unit is Sleeper Cell. They used to be everywhere, but since the points increase on the base unit and the astromech, I feel like I see, like, instead of having every Rebel list having like 2 or 3, I'm seeing like a one-off situation where I don't think they work well in a one-off situation. I still think that they're the best special forces unit in Rebels, and it's, in my mind, I know people are really high on Mandos right now, but having played with them both, I think Sleeper Cells offer something that Rebels just doesn't have with any other unit, and it's just insane firepower at range 2. Unlike Mandos, and when you take the astromech and Sleeper Cell and the heavy, in Mandos, there's 1 point difference. But what you're getting for that is it's 7 wounds for Sleeper Cells, obviously better dodge generation, way better aim generation, versus the Mandos, it's 4 wounds. Obviously, Surging Red Saves, Impervious is better. The speed's better on Mandos. But Sleeper Cell, the consistency of the 12 black dice, and having, like, they're still pretty cheap for the amount of damage that they put out. And you can take them without the astromech if you want to go really cheap with it. You're not losing any offensive efficiency. I think they, pound for pound, are the hardest hitting unit in the game, per model. When you're talking about like a 12 black dice attack supported by aims, it's hard to beat. And I feel like I've seen Rebel players veer away from it with the points increases. For me, I'm not taking fewer than 2 Sleeper Cells at any Rebel list. I think they punch so hard of their weight class. If you want like an objective unit in Rebels, just play the heroes. Don't play Mandos. Mandos they're fine. I don't think that. I think Rebels really struggle to get offensive firepower out of their units, and I think, obviously the Cassian Fleet Super Squad kind of changes the math a little bit, but Sleeper Cells are still very good, even if they're appropriately costed now.
It's a good take, Jacob, but I don't think they're underrated. I think people are still playing them. It's a good explanation of why they're good, but I think they're still being played appropriately.
I don't know. I feel like I haven't seen them as much.
I think the narrative has been changed to Mandos because they can hold a flank easier against a force user because they have impervious. They don't die as quickly. I guess that's an argument there, but I'd
This is
say,
the sleeper cell argument. We're arguing about sleeper cells.
yeah, I'm saying like I think that's why I'm seeing a decent amount. But I think that's the conversation that we're going towards Mandos is because they could survive independently on a flank.
We are certainly seeing less sleeper cells these days.
Yes.
I'll
I
say
think
this,
that
I
they
agree.
are being played by an appropriate amount for what they do.
And so taking 3
Wrong,
of them.
though.
And for my hard disagree. Oh, go ahead, Blaze.
So do you think they should just be stapled into every list like they used to be? Is that
I think
your,
so.
like,
I
take?
think you should staple 2 sleeper cells to every single list, Rebel list. I think that for the points cost, the firepower is too good, and Rebels just don't have access to firepower besides the Cassian Fleet Super Squad that I think needs to be banned from play.
And to further my disagreement, my unit is Mando Resistance with a Beskad. I think are a underrated unit. I did the math. These guys are like the only thing, like they're one of the highest sort of efficiency in terms of the effective wounds, in terms of their average hits output, and even their melee performance is one of the best in like when we're looking at this broad category of special forces units that have pistols and melee attacks. Which is every faction has.
Does this also include Clan Ren, or are you just talking strictly this?
No, not Clan Ren. I mean, I don't think Clan Ren isn't good enough to be taken without Sabine, which it just sort of like locks them in. I think Beskad duelist Mando resistant units with the jetpacks are an interesting take. I do think that there is the same problem that I had with Death Troopers, which is that once they take a wound, they take like you're just putting your heart in the dice with them. That's always been true. Like the attrition feels really bad on them, but I think that they're underrated. They're a melee hedge. They can move on to objectives effectively.
They're not a melee edge, bro. Sorry.
When you've got multiple of them and they can move at speed 3 and swing.
No charge. They need aims. They are so token hungry.
They're 6 black, 2 red. Yeah,
lethal one.
List.
Yeah,
I think they're decent, and Rebels has a lot of ability to get out aims to actually trigger duelists. Not that really makes the difference. I think it would be more getting them a dodge, but I don't know. When you look at them, when you just look at them from like from an efficiency output, they are pretty dang efficient.
Bro's pulling out the on paper argument.
I mean, hey, I think they're underrated. I think there's a chance that you can use them as your melee hedge, and also the jetpack rockets are not to be underspoken. If these guys are brought in mass, they can tear down.
One impact 4 shot.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Well, bringing multiple of like 86-point units is a bit, or sorry, 91-point units.
Oh, a third of my list. Oh,
yeah.
1 turn of impact 12.
1 turn of impact 12 is plenty.
That's a lot.
Plenty. At range 4 with blast.
Yeah, I mean that's enough to blow down a lot of
Good luck winning with your
everything
10
but a
act
heavy.
rebel list.
You've lost your touch, Jacob.
He is no longer the
can
best
make us
rebel in
secrets.
Vermont, bro.
Yeah.
He doesn't even know what he's talking about.
That is true. I am a washed rebel player.
Yeah, I don't know. Mando resistance, I think, should be considered.
Yeah,
We
there's
could talk about this
definitely
all
at least
day.
a debate. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Bad take.
It's a yeah.
No, I think it's a good take. It's a good take. Pair if that's a bust.
An interesting one,
Get him
yeah.
done.
I think the point just to summarize it is that they cover a ton of different boxes as one unit, and they're fairly mathematically efficient on their offense and their defense. So like, I don't know what more you would want from a unit, basically.
They need tactical. That'd be great.
No, you can just slap more stuff on them, but like they like already with the way that they are, the points add up.
Yeah, you're on paper they're great, but they are so token hungry that it's crazy. And rebels do not have great token generation, especially for aims, unless you're taking like a bus with the unorthodox tactician.
Yeah.
But even that's not always super reliable. At the end of the day, it's like you're getting aims based on a dice roll, and it's timing sensitive. Like, I've tried running these things, Paul. I was a Rebel player for a long time, and I never got
you tried
Mandos
running them when
but,
Sleeper Cell was like 60 points.
Yeah.
It's and these guys were 10 points more.
Yeah, that's fair.
Let me try and do strike team leader to get them tokens, and it's like, well, nothing can keep.
I don't think you need to go whole hog on generating them tokens. Just play them well. Just jump over a wall and shoot things. Jump into melee and smack things around.
We're just gonna argue into a wall, Blaze.
Right, Blaze.
Go ahead,
What's
Blaze.
your take?
Jhin. I like Jhin. Independent move is definitely the best independent.
We're gonna stop you right there, Blaze.
Cap. All right. No, I think independent move coupled with disengage, it makes her a really interesting unit. She can get out of a lot of unpleasant situations, like a lot of bad melees that she ends up in. Like at the start of a round, she could bounce into another melee. I don't know. I like the idea of her as just just flooding the zone. Just jumping into melee with units that don't want to be in a melee, and yeah, I don't know, pinging around.
I agree. I
think her command cards are decent too, honestly.
That's actually where that was gonna be my counter.
Oh yeah.
But actually, like her 1-pip and her 3-pip, I don't think are very good. Her 2-pip has some like interesting combos, and I do think that a 75-point unit doesn't need to have a stellar command hand for sure.
For sure.
I actually agree with you, Blaze. I think the only thing really going against Jhin is the operative slot in Rebels. This is so competitive.
That's fair.
And so many Rebel lists are just based around the operatives because that's really where their strong characters are. It's like you're competing with Ahsoka, you're competing with Sabine, Din, Bad Batch. I think it's hard. I think it's just the faction she's in makes it a little bit challenging, unfortunately.
Yeah,
but I don't think she's bad. She's a good objective unit on like a weak side, just like dive in and out of melees.
I think if she kept
right.
her commander status from the change, I think that would have definitely like freed up a lot of those slots. But I get why thematically she's an operative, but it would definitely, you would see a lot more play of Jhin if it wasn't the operative slot.
I do think that she is probably a very like strategically and tactically deep unit, and that there's a lot you can do with her in a game to mess with your opponent. My issue with her is 5 white saves. She does have independent moves, so she'll always have 1 dodge unless she's playing one of her own cards, basically. It's just, but she doesn't have Dangerous Sense. She doesn't have Uncanny Luck. Like, those are actually just real white surging saves. It's just 5 wounds. She's just like, I think she's just dying. Like, that's the problem, is that like there's so few things in this game that can't just kill Jyn Erso. And I don't know. And then yeah, she's competing against a very strong slot in a faction with I'm counting it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 other or 15 other choices, including K2 SO. I don't know. And she's like okay, fair enough. But she is like the defensively weakest unit in that entire thing, like, which is kind of wild. Like, I would say she's probably easier to kill than Hondo.
Than R2?
Yeah, I guess R2, but inconspicuous. Yeah, like, I don't know. It's just, she's, I don't know. I think she's too defensively weak. She's just going to get torn up, and she's expensive when you weigh her against her.
Honestly, now that I didn't look close enough at that command card, I thought she still had her danger sense and shit.
No, she doesn't have danger sense. Yeah.
Yep,
yeah.
Fair.
If she had her danger sense 3, she would be solid.
Yeah, for sure.
And yeah. All right.
Yeah.
It's a good take. Good attempt. Overrated units. Oh, yeah, now I just want to mention the bait units here, the units that are indefensible. Rebel Boba Fett, that guy exists. I'm actually going to throw Rebel, like Cassian as an agent in here. He exists. Nobody, that's bait. R2D2 bait. IG-11 bait. Wicket bait. There's a lot. Rebels, I think, have a lot of slop. No offense if you're a non-Bright Tree Village Wicket player. I don't think you exist. Actually, I know almost for a fact that you don't exist because I pulled the numbers on this. For listeners, I pulled the numbers on command cards that have been played, and Wicket's 1-pip, Close Call, is the least played command card in Legion. I think it's only been played 7 times in the last year.
That's where he can't attack in there.
It's been brought 7 times. That means that there were 7 games, I think, where it could have been played.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah. Poor guy. He's fine in Bright Tree Village.
He moves a speed 3, can attack that round. What the hell?
It was built for the old rules.
Yeah.
On a recover box, that's kind of, it was bad, but at least it was niche and could have maybe worked. But in the new rules, it's horrific.
Yeah.
All right. Overrated Rebel units. Anthony, do you want to start, or Jacob? Are you ready?
I can start.
I have a hot take.
Oh, okay, go ahead. I think you're gonna say what I'm gonna say. Actually,
I think Rebel Bad Batch is overrated. I believe it in my bones. Yeah. I, having played both Republic Bad Batch and Rebel Bad Batch, it's cute that they could contest objectives at range 1, but they hit, compared to their points cost, they hit like a wet noodle. No pierce. 11 out of 11 dice, 6 of them are white dice. No access to the precise keyword, limited amount of surges that you want to save for defense, no real split fire capability because Omega kind of sucks, 1 less health. Sounds like it might not matter, but it does. Rebel Bad Batch, I think it is so easy to in situations where the Republic Bad Batch is one-shotting units, Rebel Bad Batch is leaving 3 wounds on the table, and then that weakened unit just moves into melee with them, and they're done for the rest of the game. I don't think they're bad. I still think they're one of the best operatives in Rebels, but I think a lot of people think they're the best operative in Rebels, or one of the top 3. I think they're very middle of the pack. I think if the toss-up is between them and Din at a similar points cost, I would take Din 10 times out of 10. I think order control is horrible for them. Rebels already struggle with order control. I think they're fine, but for that points cost, I'd rather take Din. I'd rather take Ahsoka at cheaper. I'd rather put I don't know if I'd take Operative Luke over them, but
I think Bad Batch suffers from the fact that the opera saw is so overinflated that in Rebels that you probably don't consider them an option unless you really want to play with them. Like you said.
Yeah.
I'd rather just play Din because Din can just do that in one package and doesn't eat as attrition like Bad Batch does.
Also, Rebel Bad Batch is they're just not fun to play, by the way. It doesn't feel fun when you're charging in, you're doing the troll, and you put 2 wounds on your opponent. Omega! And it feels
fire your electric bow.
I think also the reason why Bad Batch and Guard is better is because you can give them tokens through Yoda or guardian them through Obi-Wan, whatever, extra things. Bad Batch and Rebels, you can't. I mean, give them dodges, but
there's not a lot of.
You can't get orders on them. I mean, you could have trusted agent on 1 turn, but you can't get orders on them. They hit like a wet noodle. You talk about you have to put wounds on Wrecker first, basically, and that's practically half your dice pool. When you really think about it, it's real bad. Or rather,
Yeah,
it's not
I
bad,
agree.
but
I'm in agreement here.
Overrated.
I think that I was just looking. I don't think any other unit that is seeing a lot of play in Rebels is overrated to the same extent that Bad Batch is. Yeah, they struggle to do the thing that a unit, when you're paying as many points as you are for Bad Batch, I think expecting them to perform like Republic Bad Batch does is reasonable. Like Republic Bad Batch hits really hard, survives for a long time, and Rebel Bad Batch does everything that Republic Bad Batch does worse at the same price point, with only the marginal that it can contest objectives at range 1, which is like, yes, there are a handful of scenarios where that can mean they could test 2 objectives instead of 1, but it's not good because that also requires you keeping your worst model alive for a long time. Yeah, I agree.
You can get a fully kitted out Ahsoka for cheaper. You can get Din for cheaper. Just not worth it.
I would agree that you would want to take the power that Bad Batch has in Rebels and disperse it over a lot of other units. You want sleeper cells can hit as hard or harder than a Bad Batch
2 sleeper cells.
Can. Yep. Din is also very effective at gumming up the works, even though he has a lot less wounds. He never attritions, and he has better defense when he's in melee, with his stuff, and doesn't care about getting orders to the same way that they do. Yeah, I think, and like Anthony said, you don't have access to all of the tech that Republic has that makes those units better. You actually you don't even have access to a lot of your own real tech because you don't have you're a mercenary.
Yep, no exemplar. Anyway, hot take, but I'm right.
Good take. Yeah, good take. All in agreement, I think.
For sure.
All right. Seppies are up next.
Wait, did anyone else think of it was?
I think we all. I think we all put down Bad Batch.
We all agreed.
That was all of our take. Yeah.
It's not a hot take. It's not. I think. I think
it is. I think it's a hot take. I think there are people out there that are Rebel Bad Batch loyalists, and they think that the unit is a strong take, and I think that they are overrating them. That they're expecting them, and that it's easy to play them and be like, I just rolled poorly on my attack, and you're really only getting one good attack out of Bad Batch in a game. It's no, they just roll that badly. They just
all of them are bad rolls.
Yeah, they're sitting on a bunch of white dice without a bunch of aims, and they attrition.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
You shouldn't. It's like Death Troopers. You shouldn't rate them by I'm going to get a bunch of aims. I'm always going to hit all.
Rebel players are starved for red saves.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. They hunger
just
for
play,
it.
Just play.
I'm looking.
I
don't think there's any unit in Rebels that I would say is overrated, mostly because so much of the Rebel roster is just not played.
Yeah. It's crazy how many units that they have and how few of them actually see the field.
Yeah.
Because they have so many operatives, and half of them are bad, and then there's 3 or 4 really good ones that you build your list around.
Yeah.
I'm honestly sad that Cassian is not played anymore, not in a super squad.
He'll never be played again.
It's
operative Cassian will never be able to play it again, because why would you have the points sitting around for 90 plus point Cassian plus K2
it's
when
sad,
you could bring him as a heavy upgrade for 25 points and make a unit that's way better than him without any of the baggage of him taking up an operative slot. Yeah, it's unfortunate.
It's very sad. He's my favorite character in Rebels, and seeing him being resorted to a fleet trooper.
Yeah,
I don't think he's horrible. It's just
he's
that
bad either. I think
the upgrade is just underpriced and incredibly effective.
Yeah.
If they were 2 separate units, he might still see some play. But
I wish so. That's not a
and
tangent.
K2SO is a very cool unit.
He has a very cool command card that is really cool, and
the card though.
That card, yeah. I think just overall what K2SO and Cassian do when they're together on the board is really cool in Legion.
These two my favorite commander.
It's a lot cooler than what Han and Chewie do.
Yeah. They actually feel more like teamwork because they're actually generating tokens. It kind of and K2
Anyways,
actually
that's
could
enough
survive.
sadness about
Let's get to the happiness of CIS.
Cassie. CIS, most underrated unit, starting with Anthony.
Underrated units in CIS? Is there a really underrated unit in here?
Yep, unit that should be played more.
Geos, I think.
Nuclear
that's not
bad
a very hot
take. That's
take.
like
What
a
are
0
you
out of
talking
5.
Every
about?
single CIS list.
Yeah, literally
Yeah,
every
they're-
CIS.
Really?
list is
I
one
feel
of
like
them.
most people are. I feel like at least in what I've looked at, most people are like hopping off of like the Geo hop train.
If you're looking at any high performing CIS list, they're usually bringing Sunfac and like a Geonosian. They're so cheap.
Oh dang, that's crazy. Never mind.
That's at least from my experience. I do think lots of people are not playing them. I guess you could take that they're underrated because they probably should be in like almost every CIS list.
Well, I thought like I was looking on Lunch Kings for like a little bit, trying to net list like Blaze, and I was like, a lot of separatist lists like didn't like they were going for like the B2s or like just going like B1s fodder and then like investing into like the support.
Yeah,
so I was like,
maybe.
Because I think, like, if you're just using it to fill, like, 3B1s to fill up your requirement, I don't know. I think you could put in, like, 1 or 2 Geos in there, run them naked. I think they're...
I disagree with the take that they are underrated. I will say that if somebody is listening to this and you are playing CIS and not playing Geos, you should definitely play them. You don't, and if you are playing them and you're like, they don't feel that good, you don't have to play them as an offensive unit. They don't have to interact with your opponent very much. Naked Geonosians at 45 points, their ability to contest objectives is like amazing. It's the best bang for your buck in terms of an objective playing unit in the game. The thing that you can do, they can sit at range 3.5 of a POI and be able to contest it, which is just insane.
That's why I think they're so valuable. I mean, for their price point and how many models you get from them, well, you get 4 models.
Yeah.
But like,
then
you get a lot of value just from holding a point.
And for 7 more points than a B1, they functionally are attacking like they're a B1 with a heavy. They're actually probably a little bit better than a B1 with a heavy for 7 points. Like, obviously they have less wounds, but they have way more mobility. Yeah. No, I don't think they're underrated, but if you're not playing them, you should be. Oh, I'm sorry. I gave you a 1 out of 5 nuclear bad take. I'm going to give you 2.5 low effort.
Dude, it's been a while since you played CIS. I'm gonna lie, bro.
Been a while. It's been like a month.
That's a long time.
2 months.
Jacob?
My take, I know I might want to end up... I'm sure Paul will convince me that my take is wrong. But I was thinking about it. I think crab droids are a little bit underrated. I know they're definitely being played, but you and I think we've talked about the podcast before. I think they have, when you compare them to the slot, they're effectively the same cost as a spider droid with an ion cannon, which functions the same. And I think they are far and away better. I think they're also better than like similar support units in other factions. I think I kind of compare them to like a Republic or Rebel ATRT, and I think they have way more utility. I think they have a strong melee for like the late game when they are charging in. I think they are a great armor hedge, and I think at a minimum they're throwing like 5 dice at range 3, which is which is fine, and then not super easy to kill. Like you actually have to focus them down with armor 2 and red saves, and they provide like the like passive value of Scout 1 on like a Dooku or a Geonosian super squad or whatever the case, or a B2 super squad, whatever the case is they provide a lot of flexible value. And I think taking like 1 or 2 of them is the move. I think they're better than Droidicas, even though they're a little bit more expensive. I think you have to focus them down in a way that you don't necessarily have to with Droidicas. I think Droidicas, once their shields are down, they're just like super easy to kill. But yeah, I think crab droids are I think right now it's kind of like up in the air what the best choice in the slot is. I think it's a very competitive slot for CIS, but I think crab droids are the best. When I'm going up against CIS lists, I'm happier to see droidicas or a spider droid versus, a crab.
They block line of sight, right? Because they're
too short.
No, they're too
to
short.
block line of sight.
Okay.
Well, they do block line of sight, but it's like heavy cover, unless they're like standing on top of something. But that does mean that they can be hidden by many other vehicle units in CIS, which is a nice trick that you can use. Droidicas and aqua droids can actually shield crab droids. It's a good take, Jacob. I agree with it. I don't know if I would go so far as to say that they are the best unit in that slot. I think droidicas are a pretty stiff competition for the price point.
Because they're cheaper. Yeah.
Because they're significantly cheaper. Yeah, I think that crab droids, when paired against spider droids, especially the ion spider that's been really popular, I think people are kind of overvaluing the ion keyword. I think it's kind of like ion land speeders are popular. It's like, oh, ion must be really good. It's like the ion land speeder is not amazing because of the ion token. It's amazing because of the astromech that lets it shoot twice. So yeah, I think that they are definitely, like, if I'm not taking droidicas, I would be taking crab droids, as long as you have something to scout that's high value. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a good take. I agree. They were on my list of potential underrated units. Actually, I would say that I agree with you. You convinced me.
Honorable mention, AAT. I think the AAT is going to be good.
Yes, an AAT is going to be good. I think people are on top of that. I think we're going to see a lot of them very shortly here. Yeah. So
where's that coming from?
The AAT being good?
Yeah, like it's a meta call, right? Like
it's a meta call, and it went down 15
cheaper.
Points.
I thought it was
15,
20.
I think they were 165. They went to 150.
At any rate, they got cheaper, and it's a decent meta call.
And I think a lot of people did not notice the significant errata that they got in the new rules. They used to be Impact 1, Critical 2. Now they are Impact 2, Critical 2 on their main gun. And with Barrage means that you've gone from, if you were Barrage and getting 2 Impact on 8 red dice, to getting 4 Impact on 8 red dice with Surge into Crit, basically, which is pretty massive. So now I think basically Barrage, especially at the new price point, has become like a viable way to play them, which I think is part of like the interest with them, is that like you get them on a point, and that Barrage cannon is now like tears through enemy armor, ignores their dodges, it's super consistent. And the meta call part of it is that you're probably going to be seeing a lot of CIS lists that are stacking up dodges.
And also the super tack overclock math of just like the one issue with the AAT is that it was slow, and you didn't want to sacrifice an action and not Barrage. And now all of a sudden, not only can you move it, you can move it at speed too to get you.
Yeah. So a super tack overclocks it once, and it just never moves again because it's on an objective, and it can just Barrage everything. There's no arc on the Barrage gun, so your opponent can't avoid it other than being behind a massive wall,
or being within range one of you.
I'm not gonna. I wouldn't say that they're underrated, because I think people are pretty on top of it. That they're going to be solid. With the points decreases, I do think people are a little slow. Yeah. Yep. Blaze, you have any different takes here?
Yeah. I mean, I was going to say spider droids. I not with the ion gun, but I dig them with the laser cannons and the flamethrowers. They just seem real cheap. And
the laser cannon spider is super cheap.
Yeah, it's like 65 points.
The flamethrower is also super cheap, but yeah,
for sure. Yeah, and I think self-destruct is an underrated keyword in general in this in the new game. Like, I think units tend to really clump up, so any ability, keyword, whatever, that gives you AoE effects, I think is they're super potent. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think for 65 points, I'd definitely pay that. Yeah.
It's actually 68, but
68.
Yes.
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree that the non-ion spider droids probably aren't getting played with at all. Their issue, I think, is the order control gets pretty messy. First, that CIS players aren't super
Yeah, that's
comfortable
fair.
with. And if you're also bringing Geonosians, then you get a pretty messy bag, like an actually messy bag. If
Right,
you're
right.
bringing droids, B1s, and like ways to get orders. But yeah, I think they're cheap. When you're running them at 68 points, like them getting shot and blowing up in your opponent's army is almost certainly cost effective, which means that you probably don't need to keep them alive or worry about hiding them super hard,
Yeah,
which is strategically useful. Do we want to transition to overrated?
B2s.
For Anthony, B2s.
I think
I'm thinking here. I think I agree with you. I think B2s would be my most overrated unit.
well, they're expensive.
CIS.
They're expensive what they do. If you focus like an army on them, they're susceptible to pierce, big, huge dice pulls from people. I think I don't yeah, I think you build a list around them, it's gonna be a very like glass cannon-y type list.
I would say it's a glass cannon list. They're pretty dang tanky. I think I agree that they're overrated. I think they're super predictable from your opponent in terms of what they're going to do and where they're going to end up. They're quite slow. For the new game, most units that are doing their role either have charge or tactical or get something as they advance. B2s just have to trod forwards. They have to worry about difficult terrain. They have to worry about climbing. And then they're not going to have aims when they shoot. Their dice pool is intimidating for a core unit, but they're priced more like an elite special forces unit. They're 88 points with one heavy. They're not really in core unit price range. So yeah, I do think that with the super tack with overclock though, that is a pretty big reason to play them because that makes them very fast and very unpredictable.
Yeah, I don't know. I think every time I play against B2s, I'm like very happy to just charging them because I know they're not going to be that threatening. And once they start to attrition, if they don't bring the super squad B2s, it's kind of like it's barbecue chicken for me.
Interesting turn of phrase. I do think the super tax breathe new life into a lot of units, provide new strategies. I think overclock is just an insanely good effect. Definitely needs to go up in points. My hot take, I think the commander version of the super tack is overrated. I think the operative version does the same thing for 10 points cheaper. I don't think, obviously, the commander version you get one extra slot for the what's it called, the protocol things. I don't think you necessarily need it. Obviously, it has more courage. Don't know how often that really comes into play, but I think in the commander slot, first, I don't think you need two. I think you take one. Because at a certain point you're getting diminishing returns taking support units, and if you start taking the weapons on them and giving them upgrades, all of a sudden like you're just having like kind of mediocre combat units. I think you just use them as the support units that they are. I think the operative slot in CIS is not very competitive. Whereas I think the commander slot in CIS is where you're getting the meat and potatoes. It's like the best characters in the faction. I think Kalani is just a better take between Exemplar, Strategize 2, Direct naturally. His command cards are decent. Obviously, Dooku, Grievous, and Wheelbike Grievous, I think, are better takes, especially Wheelbike Grievous. Poggle. I just think if you're taking the custom super tack, just take the operative version. You're saving some points in a non-competitive slot and call it a day with him and Kalani as your support units, and either Dooku or Wheelbike Grievous as like your focus commanders.
Good take. Yeah,
think-
I don't. I actually have never played the Commander version. I don't see why
really?
I ever would. Yeah, no, I've never brought the Commander.
That's crazy.
Why would I pay 10 more points for? They actually, importantly, do not have aid.
There's also that. Yeah, it's
yes,
odd.
which
that,
means
like,
that they don't have native exemplar, so they don't assist with token generation, and the operative ones with doing nothing can help with token generation in your list, which is yeah, I don't think that they're a bad unit, but the
strategize too with Kalani, and you just aid it right back to Kalani.
Yep. Or if you're taking the target one upgrade on the operatives, that's actually can be aided. Can't be like you actually use it. Yeah. No, I don't know. I don't think. Yeah, they're not better than. I agree. They're not better than Kalani or even Kraken is honestly like comparable for what you're getting, just minus the overclock. For me, overrated. I'm actually going to go with the operative super tack specifically. And you already kind of hinted at this, so I won't like belabor the point. But a lot of people, I think, they know that this unit is good, and they're bringing two of them in like every list. I don't think that makes much sense. Two units that are both performing the same role in your list as a support unit. It's just the timing of it gets messy. Like your list becomes so dependent on these guys coming out early. You can use them to generate lots of tokens, but then it's like, who am I generating these tokens for when now a quarter of my list is invested into these super attacks? And then you can like, people invest into them like now they're their melee hedge unit because they have electro staff, but they're not actually that good as a melee hedge. Yeah, their offense is fine. But yeah, I think generally like they are super strong right now. You should probably still only bring one of them and look at like Sunfac as the second operative. Or investing those points into getting actually multiple different units that you can overclock. So rather than having a smaller group of units that can be with two overclocks, so you have like two super attack operatives and like three B2s with heavies or whatever, you probably would be better off with one super attack and four B2s with heavies. It's way more wounds. Your opponent can't focus down your units, and all of those units like still like you don't need to overclock any unit in CIS to make it effective. They're all still gonna be effective. Yeah, so I think they're a little overrated. People are very on the hype train right now.
Yeah, I don't think bringing the weapons is like a good.
Yeah.
Bringing the weapons.
The other thing is just that they die so easy. Like having multiple non-pierce immune, non-surging, five wound guys who want to hang out at range 2 of your opponent's army, they're just going to get blown up. And I've had many of them get blown up.
And if they have like if the electro staff, they want to get into melee, like yeah, any unit's going to eat that up pretty easily.
Yeah, most melee units are going to devour them.
Use them as support pieces.
Yeah.
And
don't overinvest into them. Use them as support pieces. Troll your opponents with overclock, maybe land sliced comms like once a game, or just spam it out for suppression. But yeah, Mr. Rainville.
Fair enough. Yeah, sorry, nothing new. I was gonna say BTs as well, just overpriced, mediocre in comparison to other range 2, core units.
We're so in sync.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry.
No.
Yeah. Gar.
All right.
Huntsman.
Finish strong with Gar.
We're not talking about mercenaries?
No.
we're not doing mercenaries, bro.
I mean, underrated swoop bikes. But,
yeah.
Swoop bikes are killer.
If we want to do quick mercenary, I think
Mandos and swoop bikes.
I'm going to go swoop bikes is more underrated than Mandos. I bet that I feel like that triple swoop bike AA 5 list can still perform really well in these rules. Swoop Bike's offensive output is just insane.
Crazy, yeah.
70 points for a unit that throws like 10 dice out of turn. People are complaining about General Grievous throwing. They're like, he throws 10 dice a turn. It's like Swoop Bikes have been doing that for years for half his price. Obviously, very different units, you kill one Swoop Bike model, they still throw.
I didn't realize that change had been made.
Yeah, they have native overrun 2, so one swoop bike model can overrun twice and throw out 8 dice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is pretty dumb.
Yeah.
Luckily, they're easy to kill.
Yeah, but like that's why spamming them is solid. Yep. And yeah, I don't know. Mandos maybe. But Swoop Bikes I like as the underrated take too, because they can be played in 3 different factions functionally with Shadow Collective and Gar and Rebels. But onto Gar. Onto a real faction.
My pick for underrated, so far, I think I like kind of said the customizables were bad. I like the Jedi General though. I think he's like exceeded my expectations. I thought he was going to be another beat stick, but he's actually more of like how you would use a super tech and the customs, kind of like for order management and a support kind of piece. They've surprised me. I have to keep trying them and seeing how they work, but they've been, I think for me at least, seem to do what I want. I don't think they're good. I think it's underrated.
Yeah.
I don't think they're underrated. Yeah,
I think they do play a function. The order control is nice. It's a budget Jedi, but I think you're coping a little bit. The model's cool.
Yeah.
You painted them up nice. I don't think they're very good.
I agree with Anthony. I think they're underrated. I literally think that because the preview article for like Super Tax and Rebels that had way more fancy guys came out, like literally the timing of it and like the sequence they released. I think if Jedi Generals had been the first unit to be revealed, people would have been a lot more fine with how they play. And my main point is that at the end of the day, these guys are still walking around at like 110 points with 6 wounds, fully immune pierce with native deflect, even master the Force 1. And if you're bringing the double-bladed lightsaber, they hit harder on the charge than most other Force users. All until you're looking at like the top of the line Force users.
Jacob's also right. I also am coping because I'm trying to make them work, but I think they do. But they do fulfill like no, they fulfill like a role. Yeah. They fulfill like a role in Gar that
they do.
Padme has basically been done with support commander, and they basically are a support commander without a lot of super offensive capabilities, which it kind of sucks. But I don't know. I think some people are looking past them, but I think they could. I don't know. I think they could be good.
Yeah, I think as immune pierce beat sticks, they are a little underrated. I think it's disappointing that they can't do anything super fancy, but I do think that their stat line is competitive for their price.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad take. I don't know. It's hard to say.
Another 3 out of 5 take from Anthony.
Yeah.
I'd say would take them over the edge if they were able to take multiple Jedi training options. I think that would make them a lot more interesting, and people would actually play them.
You were playing them as if you could bring more. Like that was so obviously never going to be a thing. This is people got their hopes up too high. They're like, oh, I'm going to be able to have my Jedi be a Jedi consular, guardian, negotiator. Like, no, obviously he's not going to have 10 subtitles like the freaking supreme commander of the Republic. Why can't he be
a master duelist?
He has
he should be a master
duelist.
He should be able to take multiple trainings.
He should be a master duelist. He should be a master duelist.
He has an MBA. He has like a Jedi arts degree. He also went back to school and studied physics.
Release unique trainings, and you shouldn't let the Jedi take them. You're already limited to the doctrines.
Droids would put everything they want into their freaking servos. A Jedi can't become multifaceted into multiple arts.
It's supposed to take your whole life. Like the idea that freaking Obi-Wan didn't go back to school and for 5 points pick up a mastery in freaking Juyo and Vapad. It's no, I think this is going back to the way that the articles came out, and I think the people's expectations of them were very high in terms of what they could do. I think when you realistically look at them, similar to going back to range troopers, like just like people have emotions about them that are not.
I'm very
just
emotional.
Like dude, not the Jedi way, not the Jedi way.
I'm so I want to play this so much.
Cope leads to seething, and seething leads to raging, and raging leads to losing.
When I found that out that you couldn't take multiple trainings, I'm like, all right, so these are one-faceted things. Cool, awesome.
No,
I can't
you're
believe
right,
that.
Tony.
It sucks.
He's Cope. It's Cope.
It sucks. I wish the droids
It
were
is
only
Cope,
11.
but he's-
It's been a Cope, but I think I'm right.
It is Cope, but he's right. My underrated Republic unit is Obi-Wan Kenobi. I won't go too far into it because I've talked about him enough in the last podcast. Anthony is a schmuck, and here's why. We looked up we looked up the data.
A segment on trashing Anthony.
We looked up the data, and I won't go into Obi-Wan's tactics. Obviously, he plays a very different role than most of the other Jedi. He's very good. There's a reason he won Worlds, and there's a reason I won Everwinter with him. He plays a great role that keeps your
Worlds
defensive...
and Everwinter on the
Worlds
same
and
set.
Worlds? Everwinter.
200-person tournament and 18-person tournament. Two champions side by side.
I am
Stronger
just as good
together.
of a player as Isaiah Wallace, and you know it. But we looked up
way
the
better
stats
champions.
because we were curious on our way back from Everwinter. Oh, what Jedi are people playing? Of the original 3 Jedi, Yoda, Anakin, and Obi-Wan, by a considerable margin, Obi-Wan was the least played. And even Ahsoka, who came out this year, was basically neck and neck, like within a few played tournaments of Obi-Wan.
She was like 100 or so before, but
Yes.
that number's gonna rise up.
No,
She-
Jacob is
she might
right.
have already
She's only
passed
like
Obi-Wan by
20.
this
She's
point.
like only like 20 lists behind in terms of being played than
Like he
Obi-Wan.
is, I think personally, I mean, given his success and like the function of keeping expensive, like powerful Republic units alive, I think, in my opinion, Obi-Wan is the best Jedi for competitive play because he's, like we talked about in the last podcast, he takes away a lot of the randomness, and is just like very consistent in that way. He's not flashy. And people still, despite winning Worlds and Everwinter, people still aren't taking him because he's not flashy. In the same way that Yoda and Anakin and I think even Ahsoka are.
I never said anything bad about Obi-Wan. I think Obi-Wan's good. I still like playing him.
Yeah, I think Jacob is 100% correct with the take. He's extremely underplayed, clearly proven to be good, and the fact that he didn't get an uptake in play after winning Worlds, and that there were people running around like not to be specific, but there were people running around saying that it was like a fluke and that it was like I got lucky. It's like no, like the whole thing that Obi-Wan does in the game is he like significantly reduces the impact of luck. Like it's the opposite. Like you played a unit that makes you roll average and also like takes the brunt. Yeah, no, he's really good. Definitely underplayed. I do think that Anthony is also correct that people generally know he's good and just don't play him because he is boring as sin to play.
I mean, I would love to play him, but I think I told in an episode like my playstyle is like a defensive castle, and I don't play Obi-Wan. It's like it goes against everything I go, but it's like he doesn't do anything that I think
That
is
doesn't make
interesting.
any sense.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
You're just a lunatic.
You're bad.
I think I'm just dumb. I think I'm dumb, but like I
I
think
don't think you're dumb. I think he's boring as hell. Like I think he's just boring.
Want to know
Like,
what's not boring as hell? Making sure my ARC troopers are at full health when I charge in with them.
It is boring. It's still boring. It's good. It
Not
doesn't mean it's
boring
not
for me, baby.
It's yeah. And
Also,
so
Obi-Wan sneaky good in lightsaber combat.
that is actually true. That is actually a good use of sneaky good. He's better than people think he is.
I think people have been
solid.
people have been tacking on tenacity because he's guarding a lot of
Yeah.
hits. and I
Yes,
think
tenacity.
I'm
is,
averaging
I
4 to
think,
5
required
Pierce
on-
too. Like
Yeah.
he's just cleaning up chaff from from Bad Batch or ARC troopers. He's good, and he's not played nearly enough. I think he's the best Jedi, and he's by far played. He's the fourth. He's gonna be the fourth most played Jedi, despite being the best. And the Jedi Knight actually, a year from now, might catch up too. The Jedi Knight's being played a lot.
The Jedi Knight will definitely overtake Obi-Wan.
He might
Yeah, the Jedi. Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yep.
I think Obi-Wan is good. I never said he was bad. I don't know where you get that connotation. I think he's good. I think
he's underrated though. I think
he's very underrated. Yes,
if you want to win games and win tournaments, Obi-Wan is.
Maybe I'll play him now. I think you might convince me. I was like,
him.
I'm just gonna play him now. Why not?
All
Paul,
right.
What's your hot take or your underrated take?
Jacob was pretty convincing, but I do think, just to spice it up a little bit, in that I gotta go with Rex. Captain Rex, I think, is underrated. I think this is another case of, and I think this is especially prevalent in the Republic, of people wanting their units to do things that they don't do in the game based on what they do in the movies and the TV shows. Rex in Legion is not very thematic or evocative of what he is in the TV shows, but I think Scouting Party 2 in Republic is really good with him. And I think there are a decent amount of lists you can construct where pretty much him Scouting Party 2 is like 90% of what he needs to do, and he's worth it. Which is really good. Like, there's a lot of high value scouting Bad Batch is pretty nasty. And scouting Anakin is nasty, and scouting Yoda is nasty. Like, there's so many units in Republic that can definitely benefit from a free speed 2 move on turn 1. And Rex can do that, and he can also generate aims for your entire list. And he can shoot at stuff. I think people get disappointed that he dies so easily. I think you have to be comfortable with him dying or hiding. Like, he's either you make the call in the game of whether or not there's enough chaff for him to shoot at with his pistols that he's actually going to come out effective. And if there's not stuff that he can effectively shoot at, then he's going to hang. He's probably going to hide and wait for a better opportunity to come out.
I like that take. I think I like it. Jacob's going to say, yes, I do agree. Rex doesn't do anything he does in the movies, video games, TV shows. He doesn't go around gunslinging stuff. He just sits behind a wall, generates aims. I will say, though, I think he's underrated because his 2-pip gets a little tricky. I actually was experimenting in the early...
Yeah, the 2-pip is solid with all of these new units coming out.
Because Bad Batch could use it. Because the 2-pip increases your range from a max of 4, and you make Bad Batch shoot range 3 with a face up. It's pretty easy to get face up on.
Also works on marksmen to get them up to range 5.
Yeah.
Because of the way that because the way that long shot works.
Or a 5 super squad, I mean, I think I don't disagree with your take. I think I'm emotional. Rex is my favorite. I think besides Obi-Wan is my favorite Star Wars character.
You and every Gar player.
And it feels
and the
bad.
other thing, is he is like the inverse of what a lot of units in Legion have, which is that there are a lot of units in Legion that I think are overpriced, but then when you actually play them on the board and you the math of making the list fades away, you're like, these guys feel fine. That's how I felt about Cad Bane. That's how I feel about a lot of units. I think Rex is actually the opposite. He feels good in list building when you're thinking about Scout 2 on these high hitting units. And then you put them on the board and you're like, wow, my 100-point unit just went down, or, is hiding behind a wall and generating 2 aims, which an arc could do and have more impact. But you have to really think about with him, how many points are you willing to pay for a free speed 2 move on Anakin? And the answer is probably a lot. Most people are fine with paying for burst of speed, for example, to increase your speed. So
in that faction, there's so many great Bad Batch, Super Squad, Anakin. So
I think it's if you knocked Rex down 20 points, if you were basically compartmentalizing your mind, there's 20 points of value in terms of the moves if you're scouting Bad Batch and Yoda or something. Then it's okay, now he's an 80-point unit. Is he okay for that? I don't know.
I think if you go into...
I agree.
Go ahead, Jacob.
I don't think he should be cut at all. I think
no, I think in the player's mind.
Yeah.
If he got significantly cut, it just makes all these other units way better.
He would be an
They're
auto take.
already good units. Yeah.
Yeah. It just, I don't know.
Scout 2 on Obi-Wan. Probably not.
No, he's actually terrible at a Scout
2. Yeah.
He's sitting behind the wall, Cerezu, Guardian. Yeah, I don't know. I've talked about it a lot, not on the podcast, but I think Rex just needs to feel more thematic, and the only way to do that is to make him more survivable. I think just give him impervious and just like so he's less easy to one shot, or give him
you could also just give him Scouting Party 1,
or give him Scouting Party 1, and then some defensive
stats.
keywords.
Yeah.
I think would be good. I don't know, but yeah. Good take.
You should also associate Anakin.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I think people also just forget that he does basically have Exemplar, Like, he's a support unit like many others, and he does basically have Exemplar. And he's also thrown 6 red a turn,
Yes.
Like, that's
it's not the damage
nothing.
output's that the problem. It's like once he gets into range 2, he
people,
just dies.
This is like, I see people be like, he should have Pierce 1. He should have Lethal 1. He should have Steady. It's like, no.
He
it's
should
not
the
just
damage.
Be the best range unit in the whole game.
He needs impervious.
Because he was in the Clone Wars.
He just needs, he needs defensive keywords. He doesn't need anything else.
Impervious would make him a lot better at the range 2 battle. But
it would just make him like
survivable. It would just make him survivable, which I think what a lot of guard players want is just like him to be up there playing Call Me Captain, like gunslinging, and then like he dies heroically. I think that's
which he
ideal.
can still do right now. You just have to be tactical with like what he's going up against. And also you have to be like, he's probably gonna die. He's an easy target for your opponent to take out, but he did produce value before he died.
I think taking him with Obi-Wan might actually be pretty good.
Okay. We'll see.
Blaze?
Blaze, your unit?
Barks. Super cheap.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Peter's gonna rule. Peter's gonna rule the day when I have my Barks.
I'm not
on the
saying
board.
Barks as a sidecar. I think that's not great. I just like naked Barks. 59 points is super cheap for a unit that fast.
With 5 red saves.
Yeah. I don't know. I think at 59 points, I think just having like a turn or two, that you can just like dump them onto a point and like either keep your opponent from scoring or maybe snag a point or two yourself. Just dump them on like an unexpected point. I think that's a viable play. And I think it's one of the most effective like filler units or like activation pads in the game. With a F59. But that's it.
Good take.
Yeah, I agree. They're underpriced. And I wanted to say one thing is that if you're a person who is considering bringing Barks, part of what you should think about with the sidecars that you have to evaluate that I think a lot of people might miss.
The -1 black, right?
Yes. Yeah. Is that they have Arsenal 2. The base guy can fire his blaster rifle while firing the main cannon. So he rolls 1 red, 2 black, and a white. If you bring a sidecar, you can basically look at all the dice on these and subtract 1 black die from them, because you aren't shooting the blaster rifle on the main guy isn't shooting his blaster rifle anymore when you have to use Arsenal 2 on these. So if you're like, all of these don't really look as good as they are, and then also their comparison is to heavy weapons on infantry units. They add similar dice, but actually less when you bring that into consideration. And then they also don't add wounds, and they slow you down. So like,
point.
I think that's like part of why, despite like continuous price cuts, like always going down, they just don't often see play because they kind of suck mathematically. They would have to be pretty cheap. Paying 28 points for the Ion Gun is crazy. I'm looking at that.
I would never
like,
do
not
that.
That 21, or no, it's 21. 28 was what it was on release. Not that the Ion Gun Bark is like a horrible unit, but it's just like to have that many points wrapped up in a fairly slow speeder unit. With only 5 wounds, it doesn't seem great.
I I like it. I think that, I was thinking about Barks because I was playing a lot of Commandos, and I think if you wanted to pad out that support slot with something, I guess Swoop Bikes might be something I could try. But I think Barks, I haven't tried in a while. I think you are right, Blaze. I think they're like pretty good at just getting up to a point, so tanky survival on like the Empire speeders. But I haven't really played with Naked Barks yet. But maybe that's the play. I will say that a upgraded Bark feels way better than ATRT in Gar. At least in my standpoint. That might be a hot take for some people, but I think that's my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. No, they should be played more. And everybody, you all have them. You can't say I don't have them. Everybody has them. All right. Overrated units, starting with Anthony. Most overrated Gar unit.
There's a lot. Overrated Gar unit. Jedi Knight. It's kind of overrated. I'd rather stick around.
His
Underrated and
is the
overrated?
Jedi
That's
General.
crazy.
No.
Overrated
Yeah,
is Jedi Knight.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
I know. That took me a second.
Yeah. Jedi General,
Jedi Knight is overrated, you think?
Yeah. I think I would.
So that must mean you think it's really bad, because it's generally regarded as not being very good, right?
I played with it a couple times. I'd rather just take. I think I talked to Jacob about this. I'd rather just take an Arc Medic squad for the same price, and it does the exact same thing. The thing about the Jedi Knight is that once you get into melee, you have like Ram 1, Pierce 2 with the doctrine that gets you aims tactically at 2 aims, but you're rolling like 6 dice, and you're not going to be able, like, on average, you're not going to be able to kill anything. And once you're in the melee,
you mean once you've finished the charge, now you're on subsequent turns where you're aim swinging.
Yeah, you're stuck there, and like you're averaging 3. And it's really bad.
Really? Okay, come on, man.
Not really bad. Not really bad.
Okay.
It's immune pierce 90-point unit.
Republic players will throw. It's horrible. It's horrible. It only rolls 5 pierce 1. It's only as good as Boba Fett. It's barely better than Boba Fett for 30 less points.
I think after playing with it a little bit, I think it's a bit of a downgrade to Arc Medic squads, but I want to try it out to see if what it would have had, and it was a bit. I've been seeing a lot of people like doing that list of like Double Saber, the burst of speed, and just like the surging to hit, and I think it's a good package, but I don't really know what it does once it's past the ram part of attacking. I don't know what it does.
I do agree with Tony. You're just better off. Yeah, we were talking about this yesterday. We were at the gym together. I think we were both in consensus. It's just better to take an Arc Medic 9 out of 10 times. Just more flexible, better for order control. Just, I don't. And I think the reason I think you can say it's overrated is because it's actually being taken quite a bit on, if you go by Longshanks. I don't know if that's because people think it's good. I think it's because people want to play with their cool new models, and it's just it's a not competitive slot in Republic, or not as competitive as the Commander slot. So I don't know. I don't know if I agree with the take in its entirety, but I agree with the gist of what you're saying, Anthony. I don't know. Again, I just don't think people are taking it because they think it's good. I think they're taking it because they want to get their cool models on the table.
Yeah.
Shout out AMG, good model. I like it.
Yeah, I mean AMG knocks it out of the park with most of the models. I think my take specifically is
before we move on.
What was that, Blaze?
This is some Gar Cope. Fifth Brother is 97 points. Fucking Jedi Knight 95 points. Like, what the fuck? What are we talking about, man?
Yeah. I think this isn't really in the topic of this discussion. I think that the ARC Trooper with Medic is wildly undercosted. Frankly, just shouldn't exist. And I think there's going to be a hard emotional tantrum session from Republic players when that gets changed, because they're actually going to have to come down to earth and play with the melee units and with stuff that's on comparison to what other factions have. They're not just going to have in case you're curious, ARC, unless my math is wildly off, Arc Troopers with the medic are, for their price point, the best defense, the best offense, the best melee, the best charge. Like literally they're the best in every single category that you could evaluate like a melee range 2 unit from. So yeah, I do have to agree with Blaze a little bit that the Jedi Knight is probably perfectly fine. He has extremely stiff competition. Nothing wrong with playing Arc Troopers with the medic. They're
It's
seems
true.
like they're here to stay.
I've been trying to wean myself off of the Arc
Nothing can
medics.
compete with them.
Yeah.
Like there's no like yeah.
Literally nothing in the game.
Yeah.
True.
Actually,
fair.
so I did do the math. They're dewbacks with flamethrowers are the closest thing in terms of like raw math that ignores a lot of other things going on.
My take for overrated unit is super squads in Republic. I think they're very popular, but I think they're very easy to turn off. I think just you often, like, the units are powerful enough on them. Like, I'm talking specifically like fives and Ahsoka super squads. They're already powerful enough on their own, frankly. And when you take the super squads, all of a sudden you're talking like Bad Batch costs, if not on some occasions, if you really kit them out, even higher cost. And you're just overkilling whatever you're in melee with, like almost every single time. It feels, on the one hand, it's nice that you have like units on the field that could one-shot practically anything in the game, but on the other hand, if you misdeploy, you're screwed. Or if they just put like a rebel player just double moves a rebel trooper into melee with you, feels bad to be overkilling like these really, low cost units. The only way you really feel like you're getting value out of them is if you are like able to charge into your like a Dooku or, like their high impact units, but you can't always guarantee that, especially when you have lower activations. And of course, like there's, they're, as much as it is difficult to suppress them, it's not impossible. I don't think they're bad, but I think that they get a lot more play than they deserve. I think I'm much more comfortable taking just like a 5 shotgun squad without the super squad. Same with Ahsoka. I think they're just better in that. More cost effective, at the end of the day.
I agree. I think they remain. You need a plan to use them that ensures that they're getting high value out of them. You can't just have them marching around like as if they were a standard core unit. You're paying like hero prices for a core unit, and it has to be played almost like a hero unit. For me, for overrated Republic is going to be Arc Troopers with anything but the medic. I think naked arcs are probably mainly the other way that they're played. I don't think they're very good for their price because they're so fragile. I think they're just too fragile. And when you have big clone lists that are investing into big piles of arcs without medics, they just become such high value and easy targets. I don't know if that's, I don't even know if that's a worthwhile take because the medic is so cheap. I don't see why you're not, but I think if you have to shave like an arc medic off, you should maybe consider taking the 70 points that you were hanging on to for a naked arc and look somewhere else in your list, either in a clone with a heavy or like not an ARF, but like a bark or something else. They're just really fragile. And I do think that's why like at this point we're sort of balancing wise, arcs are in a weird hole where like they're very strong with the medic, like strongest in class, and if you take the medic away from them, the pacifier, the suckling babe of Gar will be left out in the snow.
Left out on the side of the hill.
It's
left on the side of the
true.
hill and left to the B1 hordes.
It's true. I've been trying to wean myself off of the clone medics because I'm thinking, and they're going to remove them from arcs. I want to see if arcs could survive or could be viable without them. The answer is no. Paul's
Probably
right.
not.
They're really fragile, and I haven't even considered bringing the other upgrade because why would I? Because the clone medic still exists. But I want to at least have a thought experiment of like, are naked arcs good?
No, they are not. I agree with that take.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it kind of sucks. I'm just looking now. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They have 8 possible heavy weapon and leader upgrades, and only one of those. And honestly, only one configuration of them is probably worth playing, which is the medic.
Like the Jedi
Ahsoka
Guardian, I haven't
and
used that yet.
fives are better spent in core units.
Yeah.
They're not bad in an arc, but they'll always be better spent. The points are usually almost always better spent in another unit.
I think if you could take the Captain Rex leader upgrade and have him in arcs, that would actually be good.
That wouldn't make any sense thematically, though. So why even talk about it? It's not like there are many episodes of the Clone Wars where he literally leads ARC troopers into battle.
Fives and Echo are ARC troopers. He led them.
I know. That's the bit. He does multiple times in the Clone Wars, like jetpack in with a bunch of arcs and like mess up shit. Nah, weird.
It's kind of sad the ARC troopers are just the squad leader slot is regulated to the clone medic. Like the Jedi Guardian is a cool concept when ARFs came out, but no one did that because the clone captain was so cheap. Clone commander was so cheap.
AMG. I feel bad for Republic players because AMG is just like giving you more and more slack, and then they're just gonna yank it all in. Like,
that's what I'm afraid of.
They've been cutting away all your escape routes, and now you're all running to clone medic arcs, and then they're gonna be like, "That was unintentional. Goodbye, clone medic and arcs." And it's gonna be the faction is going to crumble. I think it can be rebuilt. I don't think the faction is like unplayable without clone medic arcs. But
I mean, people were playing like the clone captains when the commander went up. Like, just having an extra body is nice. The clone medic just puts it over the top. AMG definitely open
Captain arcs might be in this theoretical world without medic arcs. Captain arcs maybe.
Because I was
not if you're not giving them order. Like, I don't know.
I was primarily playing them for the extra dice pool. Like, the order is not like getting it outmaneuver is nice, but like the extra dice is where, and the extra wound is kind of where a lot of my thinking goes. I think a lot of consensus of Garth thinking.
Should be looking at Wookiees, honestly, at that point, though. I feel like if you're not giving them any orders, you're like Wookiees are looking comparable, which is not a good sign. I don't know. Like, look it up.
Compared to naked arcs,
similar. Not naked
Dude.
Wookiees versus naked arcs. That's tough on both.
That's my take. Wookiees in any form overrated. They're
should
horrible.
never be played.
They're
never.
They're terrible.
I disagree, Blaze. I disagree.
I also disagree. I think the shooty Wookiees, the ones that shoot, are over. I think you should never take that.
So it's funny because we're talking about units that literally like never get played, but there are people who do play them sometimes. Anyway, yeah. I think that shooting Wookiees, Wookiee chieftains, probably Chewbacca in Republic, and probably the Fluttercraft don't really have any viability beyond the Battle Force, where you have to take them, which just sort of expresses our opinions on the Battle Force too. I think that the melee Wookiees are close. They're close to being playable. But I guess I would agree that they are not really playable right now. They're very close, I would say.
I put them in my box, looked at my box, said, I'm just going to take a pair of arcs, and then that's called a day.
Like, 6 black with no aims, man, is tough in comparison to arcs.
But like they do have they just attrition way better, less dice dependent. They're way more strategically independent within Dominable.
I mean, do they attrition better? Like with the new cover changes, I haven't played them, but like,
well, just the math of like Wookiees. If Wookiees have taken 5 wounds, they've dropped 2 black dice. If arcs have taken the mathematical equivalent of 4 of 2 red save wounds, they've lost 4 dice. So like a Wookiee that's taken 5 wounds is hitting harder than an Arc that's taken 2 wounds, for example.
Right.
So I think that is like a reason to play Wookiees. Like Wookiees are less order dependent, but
They've got
I
no
would
token
not say that
support.
they're underrated.
Yeah.
They don't need token. I don't think Wookiees need token support.
I mean, I played entire
A
Battle
six
Force
flag,
with them.
man.
Like,
But when you look at this unit in like, there is like Wookiees have duelists. There's like no other unit in this slot that has access to Pierce. So I think some people view duelists on Wookiees as like you have to trigger it to make them valuable. But that if they were always triggering it, they would be a very unique unit. They would be spammable Pierce in a way that like is not very common. Not that would make them busted, but it's just interesting. So I don't know. Wookiees I think are close. I would say that if Wookiees like went down even like 5 points net between like their heavies and like the base unit, I think that they would be better than naked Arcs. I think they would be comparable to Arcs with anything but the medic. But that's a theoretical world. We don't live there.
I think
Fair.
Wookiees are like very close to it. I think give them a price.
Actually, I am gonna say though. I don't know. I might be convinced here. I think naked Wookiees might be better than naked Arcs.
That's true, prop. I think that's actually true.
That might be true.
I don't think that. I don't think so. Just because of the support likability of Arcs. You know, like tactical with a clone trooper, I think would.
I don't think it's
put
that
them
if you
far
play in the
over-
battle
over
force,
the
doesn't matter.
Wookiees.
Yeah.
I think Wookiees have been designated to their own.
I don't care about the battle
Battle
force. I don't
Force?
want to talk about the Wookiee battle force. I don't.
I think that's how
it's-
it's regulated at this point.
If units are only viable in battle forces, they aren't viable.
Fair
That's
enough.
why I
Is
think
my sort of broad opinion.
That's why I think it's only viable in the battle force naked.
But yeah, they're viable in the battle force because you have to play them in the battle
Yeah,
force.
I think that's the only reason why that's the only reason why Wookiees could be good.
then it's like the question becomes: is the battle force viable? Which I think the answer would be no. If the only unit playable in the battle force
Is a not viable
is
unit.
only played when you have.
Well,
to
you can
play.
bring one arc.
I mean, that's kind of. I don't know. I'm just saying. Shout out to the HRU or the whatever the snail taking is called.
But those are unique units. Those
Right,
are they use the model of another unit, but their rules are different.
right.
Those are special issue, Blaze. Actually, if you read the rule book.
All right, boys. How do you say? What do we land this jetpack? I think we had some
Let's
good
land this-
takes, right?
What was the worst take? Was it my take? I think I had a pretty bad some bad.
I think on
Uh,
average, my takes were the best.
Geonosians being
that was
underrated, I think, was the worst take.
Yeah, that was a pretty bad take, Tony.
that's
You
a
should be
tough one,
ashamed.
Yeah.
People
yeah.
should be playing them.
Do better.
Do you like that Anthony had takes that were controversial by nature of being unexciting?
What do you
Like they
mean?
were. You had a lot of takes that were like, yeah, you're kind of right, but I don't think the unit is as overrated or underrated as you're.
You want me
sort
like
of
spicy?
implying.
I don't know. I think a lot of the units in Legion, like
We had to.
Yeah.
What was the unit that we had to stop the discussion on? Gosh, what was it? Is it land speeders? No, it was something
Mandos?
else. Oh, Inquisitors.
Wow.
That was just be clear, not my take. Not my take, but they're underrated.
they're
All right.
really.
They
Yeah.
exist.
Anyway, good takes, boys. Looking forward
Yeah.
to another year of Star Wars Legion with 2 out of the 3 of you. We'll see if Blaze shows up.
At this
Um,
point, we'll see if I show up. At this point, we'll see.
yeah. If we keep bullying Anthony. All
Yeah.
right.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Hopefully, we'll see you in the next year of Legion. Stay sticky.